like putting your face in a damn water basin trying to get an apple. Bobbing for apples, that was always fun. I remember bobbing for apples the first time at Diane Pfeffer's house with Tim and, Bob, who I once dreamed had died and come back to life, and nobody wanted to be around him because it was like, you're supposed to be dead. That's what we say, you're supposed to be dead. Nothing against his personality or anything he ever did. But if you die, you're not supposed to come back because some sort of earth tremoring quake. You're not supposed to be sitting there in an overall suit like a Delta Force dude on Fort Bragg out front smoking your cigarette and having everybody hate you because you're not supposed to be here. One of my first family memories, and there was old videotape too, me trying to dunk for apples out at the Pfeffer's place on Halloween. I was never any good at it. I think people probably got a lot more pleasure out of seeing me fail than they should have. But it's been a lifetime of it. Things change. Here we are, we got a family. And look, oh, there I'm in the tree. Oh, we got a gang of people. And look at that. I haven't released it because it's like 34 or 35 minutes long while I was cutting up the file cabinet. But I was cutting up the file cabinet to pin it to the wall so that I could put magnets on it. Oh. Make it right, make it tight. Oh, look at that. There's another magnet up there. Now that all the fun is done, let's get to the point. What I've learned is that in China, people don't know what it is to point. You can fucking point and say, whoa, yow, whoa, yow. You finally learn that. But they just screw with you and they go, this one? And you go, that one. And they go, this one? And you go, that one. And they go, this one? And you go, what the fuck, man? Point, point, point. What am I looking at with this finger? Am I threatening you? I am Cornelio. That's my Beavis impression. But I just done this thing about the difference between intelligence, and discipline. And I went in to talk to Victoria about it. And I was sitting there. And in it, Ira Hayes came up. That song that's famous by Johnny Cash that was written by Peter LaForge. Don't call him Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey drinking Indian or the Marine that went to war. And I went in to talk to her about that. And I was like, he was on Iwo Jima. He was fucking holding the flag up there. And then they said, get back up here, we'll do it again. I don't remember. There was a movie about it a while ago. And so he's got to stand there and do it again. And And then they fucking send all these things like they did with Captain America. He's a fucking propaganda expert. That's all they made of him. He's a piece of propaganda. And everywhere he goes, all these senators in the movie are shaking his hand, saying, get a picture of me. Get a picture of me with the Indian. And it's like, he's a high. You want to start wondering about Orange Shirt Day when they steal you from your families and they don't let them come see you. And then when you graduate with your education, your families don't accept you and the people that trained you won't give you a job. It's like, what the fuck, man? There's Ira Hayes right there. He's going, these senators, they're fucking Indian. I'm a person. And it's just like, and it ran them into drinking and down into a ditch. The only thing that ran me that way was my genetics. And I've always been able to get out of the ditch, but you got something heavy like being a Native American, an Amerindian that went and fought for the U.S. after they took everything from you. That's the guilt that comes up. And that's the guilt that cannot be forgotten. Ooh. And if you want to go so far as to say, well, that's just for, well, let's forget about the fact that they were sterilizing Native Americans from the start back in the 50s, as far as back as the 50s, and trying to get rid of them. Let's look at Barack Obama in his inaugural speech. It was the only one I'd ever seen at that time. I happened to be home because it was coming out of the Bush years and there was no work. And I'm sitting there and I say, I'll fucking look at this thing I'm eating, and I'm looking at it and I'm watching this Barack Obama guy. He's just sitting there. It's his party. And all they can do is push it the way they want to. He's just sitting there, he's going, and I'm looking at his eyes, I'm looking at the stoic look and stern, just, he's not into this at all. There's no fun in this. He's sitting back there looking while they just keep talking about Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, and all that, and I can see looking at him. He's going along with it. He has to. But behind his eyes, I could see them offending him. I could see him sitting there thinking to himself, I'm supposed to be a person. It's got nothing to do with my past. It's got nothing to do with what the hardships have been for my people. It's about who I am now. And do I want to help? I want to help. And you people make me look like just Ira Hayes standing there with a damn flag. You people make me look like somebody that isn't really a person. You people remind me of Abraham Lincoln going down the Mississippi or whichever river it was on when he went down with his uncle at about 12 years old. And he's quoted as saying, when he saw the slaves on the docks as they passed through towns that were being sold, he's quoted as saying, not, look at those humans. he's quoted as saying, look at these poor beasts. He didn't even think of them as people. That's the thing that we have to remember about Abe Lincoln. He was working to keep a country together. What are we going to look at in the future? Are we just keeping the country together, or are we making a people? He got himself shot over screwing with things in a way that he pushed the abolition of slavery sooner than it should have been. That's the way I see it. I saw, having read Booker T. Washington's writings, I saw that these people that were doing things at the time were going to make it acceptable because these are wise men. And it was going to happen in another 50 years anyway. How can we get by without these smart people, these human beings that have come up above the shit that we threw upon them? They are here to help. They want this to be a better place. And then you get a situation where we're forced to accept one way or the other. I'm convinced that if not for Abraham Lincoln's decisions at that point to keep the country together, because we couldn't afford a sedition, we needed to keep the economy going, I'm convinced that this would have been a better place without memories of torment, and protests, and firebombs. I'm convinced we are supposed to just be aware that maybe somebody knows something more than we do. I feel awful that a man, whatever he was, I don't know him, but any man that was sitting there feeling like he had hope, if he did, which I don't like hope. We've talked about that, the little sister of worry and all that. For this person that might have been the person that could have pulled us all together, to be sitting there at the day they said, you're in charge, and reminding him that he was nothing but a slave. Well, he could have been a Polak, for all we know.